Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we're covering all the major headlines that you need to know about. Before we jump into any of it, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. It really does support the channel, and in fact, it forces the algorithm to send our videos out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel, so your help and support would be greatly appreciated. And also, make sure to head over to baldbrad.com. Link is in the description. We got a bunch of goodies over there for you, including my book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Folks, you're seeing what they're doing in real time. They are destroying this country from the inside out. Find out how. Find out why by picking up yourself either a signed copy at baldbrad.com or clicking on any of the links in the description to take you to Amazon and get yourself an unsigned copy. And also at baldbrad.com, we got merchandise. We got t-shirts, hoodies, mugs. We got it all for you, folks. You're not going to feel any more patriotic than drinking out of that mug, reading that book, and wearing that merchandise. Let me tell you. And lastly, most importantly, let's talk about our community of conservatives, Republicans, just patriots here at the Bald Brad Show. Folks, hit that join tab right here. Become a true American patriot yourself. They're in the live chat. They're in the comment section. They're with you each and every video, just as I am, folks. Again, hit that join tab below and become a true American patriot today. We would love your support. Well, folks, we have a lot to cover today. Holy Lordy, we got a lot to cover. So check this out. IRS whistleblower's attorney, quote, David Weiss has to go over Beau Biden connections. They're saying this is a bombshell report, folks. I don't know. Let's find out. U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware, David Weiss, the special counsel in the Hunter Biden case, must step down amid a pile of new bombshell reports, including a past connection to President Biden's deceased son, Beau. An attorney for one of the IRS whistleblowers told Fox News. Mark Little, who represents IRS investigator Gary Shapley, who we've covered here on the show, told the story that Weiss, nominated by then President Donald Trump, but held over by Joe Biden, must go, and a truly independent special counsel must be named in the Hunter Biden case. It just continues to get worse for all parties. Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, deceased Beau Biden, David Weiss, Donald Trump, Gary Shapley, you name it. Everybody involved in this is like, has a connection to this, whether it be the Chinese, the Romanians, Ukrainians, the Bidens, the Hillary, the Clintons, the freaking everybody. It's insane. It's insane. Quote, my overall reaction with all this information that comes out is that David Weiss has to go, Little told the story. He cannot be special counsel in this case. Every day, there are new revelations about Mr. Weiss and the way he's handled this case. I mean, there's also been revelations about Attorney General Merrick Garland not giving Weiss unprecedented access. Then Weiss comes on and says, well, I've had unprecedented access, and then comes in later, says, I didn't have unprecedented access. I mean, roadblock after roadblock, shenanigans after shenanigans. This whole thing is a scuffle, folks. Can anything go right in our government, in our legal system, like anything? It's insane. It's insane how little things actually go smoothly in a government. One of the reports from the Washington Post revealed Weiss worked closely with then Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, the elder son of President Biden, who died of cancer in 2015. If you recall, Joe Biden thinks that Beau Biden died in Iraq, which he didn't. A terrible thing to have a son die like that, but Joe Biden makes things up. At the time, Weiss was serving as U.S. Attorney in Wilmington in an acting role while the younger Biden worked in Dover. However, the same Post story quoted Beau Biden's former chief of staff saying it is not uncommon for Dover to work hand in hand with the feds and that everybody knows everybody in the three-county size state. So basically, look, it's small. People are going to run into other people, and the fact that there was a mere connection is going to happen. And now it doesn't really give full credibility as to why David Weiss should step down. I don't think he should. I don't think there's a real hard case connection here where basically he's interfering, that the connection's too strong, and, you know, he can't resolve it himself. He can't remove himself from everything. It's so, it's shady. It's sketchy. And it makes me wonder why Gary Shapley's attorney, the IRS whistleblower's attorney, stepping in and asking for this. So I'm a little confused. I'm not really connecting the pieces there as to what motivation he would have to get David Weiss removed. So it's a little odd that this is taking place all of a sudden. The report comes amid repeat claims that Weiss's office has given Hunter Biden preferential treatment in his federal criminal case. Yes, that is true. That is what we are hearing. But we're also hearing again that Attorney General Merrick Garland was also getting preferential treatment in the federal criminal case as well. So I don't know who to believe here. I don't know if we're believing Joe Biden. I'm not believing Hunter Biden. I ain't believing Joe Biden, but I'm also going to believe David Weiss here. I don't know who to believe. Who you guys believe in? Let me know. It's insane. All this is insane. Little also referenced another recent report claiming that Weiss was not moving toward prosecuting Hunter Biden until Shapley and fellow whistleblower Joseph Ziegler came forward. Anchor Martha McCallum reported, citing the New York Times, that Weiss didn't intend to bring charges until the duo came forward. Again, but this goes back to what was Attorney General Merrick Garland allowing. I mean, we're not getting any answers here. If anything, things are getting more foggy, which is kind of stressing me out a little bit, because when things get a little bit more foggy, it gets a little bit hazy and fuzzy. It makes you wonder, is anything going to happen to Hunter Biden? Is anything going to happen to Joe Biden? Are we actually going to continue to look under the hood on this whole thing? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's starting to get a little sketchy here. But as always, I'm curious to know what you all think about this, because they're trying to get David Weiss removed. Weiss wasn't willing to prosecute Biden. Biden got a sweetheart deal. Judge says, nah, we're not going to allow that deal. Let's look under the hood. Now we got a special counsel. We'll see what comes of it, but I'm not holding my breath whatsoever. Moving into our next story of the day, we have White House spokesperson saying Biden has been there since day one for Maui. Here's where he actually was. Folks, we watched yesterday's episode with the White House press briefing and the gaslighting that's been going on there. Well, they're doing it once again, but now it's full blown. This one's insane. You have the cojones to sit there and say that Joe Biden's been there since day one when the dude was vacationing off the coast? Come on, man. You can't make it up. It's as if we don't have video of the guy and footage, actual pictures of the guy sitting there in his lawn chair on the beaches. Check this out. A spokesman for President Joe Biden said that when Biden arrived in Maui, nearly 2 weeks after the wildfires swept through the western Maui, again, the dude still hasn't visited East Palestine with the train derailment, with all the toxic waste everywhere, in the sky, in the soil, in the water. He still hasn't visited that. Dude shows up 2 weeks after the wildfires just because he could fit it into his schedule. See, you guys, he's working so much. Of course, I'm being facetious. The guy's not working at all. Okay, and people think I'm joking when I say that. No, he's taken almost 50% of his days as president as vacations. That's a real number. Furthermore, he only works between noon and 4 p.m., you guys. If they get this guy at 9 a.m., it's like a huge deal. That's not coming from me. That's coming from Jen Psaki, Karine Jean-Pierre, and everybody else in the White House. His own aides in the White House are saying that. One of his priorities would be to make sure residents were aware that he had been there since day one. He says crazy things. This is the same guy that was looking for dead people in the crowd. You remember that? Are you there? Where are you? Like, dude, she's in heaven, I guess. I don't know. The president and first lady Jill Biden traveled to Maui on Monday after reporters pressed Biden several times about when he planned to make the trip to tour the damage of the historic town and the surrounding areas. So there's audio only of it, but I'm just going to read it to you. It says, Biden spokesperson Olivia Dalton says Biden will make sure that he communicates to the Maui residents that not only have we been there since day one, has he been there since day one. That's exact quote. It's so baffling, man. It's so bad. But in response to the claims made by the spokesperson Olivia Dalton, namely that Biden has been there since day one, critics pointed out that on day one of the deadly fires that left more than 100 people dead and supposed to skyrocket, and hundreds still missing. There's like upwards of like over 1,000 people still missing, by the way. The president was actually on vacation. Of course he was. How do we know that? Because we have pictures of it all. We literally have pictures. The dude's sitting on a lawn chair. Look at that. But he's been there since day one, you guys. No, he's been there since day one. Sure he has. It's amazing just the sheer lies and gaslighting that's been done. Remember in Ted Cruz, when Texas was like running out of power and he decided it was a great idea to go on vacation and everybody slammed him? He should have been slammed. I like Ted Cruz. He should have been slammed. It was a stupid knucklehead thing to do. And he admitted it. He admitted it was a stupid thing to do, and he kind of blamed it on his family, which is also a messed up thing to do. It might be truthful. I don't know, but he's not there day one. He's freaking his feet in the sand. Oh my God, getting sun damage again, getting his sunspots. So when members of the press caught up with President Joe Biden in Delaware, where he was at on the beaches, as you just saw, they asked him directly about the rising death toll in Maui. His response was this: no comment. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. That's Americans he's talking about there. But if you were to ask him about, actual non-Americans, he'll make sure that he takes care of them real quick. Gee, like illegal aliens, or I don't know, the Ukrainians, sending billions of dollars over there when you could send a few billion to Hawaii, Maui to be specific, and actually take care of Americans, but we can't do that. No, we can't do that. It's insane. This guy's insane, man. 35% of people are still going to vote for this guy. Let that sink in. Talk about having your head up your you know what. Several days later, when he returned to the White House from his weekend at the beach, staffers kept members of the press corps cornered off. Of course they did. This guy doesn't take questions, and when he does, he says, no comment. You have to shout questions, and then Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be like, oh, no, he takes questions. You might have to yell at him, and maybe you're not going to get him in because he can't hear you, but you can shout questions. He takes questions all the time. Every day he takes questions. Oh, sure. I'm trying to legitimately remember an administration that I've seen that's gaslighted the American people this bad. I thought Barack Obama was bad. That dude full-fledged lied about a lot of things that we know was in Eric Holder's emails, his at the time Attorney General, Joe Biden's emails as well. Hillary Clinton bleach bits her emails. I mean, this guy, this is some next level stuff. When he left Washington again, headed to Wisconsin for a speech touting his economy, remember, he's bragging about it. He's doing a victory tour right now. In the same way he was doing a victory tour about gas prices and illegal immigration when they were breaking records. Talk about gaslighting. Once again, he responded to reporters' shouted questions with nothing more than a smile and a brief wave with his hand. He doesn't know what's going on. This guy doesn't have a clue. We got footage of it. Of course we got footage of it. Let's go ahead and roll it. Look at this guy. He's looking around. I don't know where to go. Why does he walk like that? Somebody let it go. That's a walk of an unhealthy old person. I'm sorry. I feel bad for the guy. You might not, but I feel bad for him because he's struggling. He's struggling mentally, physically. I mean, everything. He should not be in that position. Independent journalist Glenn Greenwald pointed out the disparity in the way that corporate media has covered Biden's failure to answer questions, noting that previous presidents have been vilified for far less. Oh, yeah. You don't have to tell us, Glenn. Oh, we know. I mean, the handling of Biden's administration compared to Trump is insane. It is black and white. Like I said, there's like 35% of the country or more that's going to be like, no, the media's been pretty fair on this one. Yeah, they're really covering it well. It's it's just lying to yourself at that point. It really is. You're just lying to yourself if you think the coverage is equal between Trump and Joe Biden. Come on. The guy fumbles all the time. I mean, the only people that I've seen really carry over what the media did to Trump is the Australia TV, like what is it, australianews.us or whatever it is. They'll destroy Joe Biden constantly for his gaffes and him just like looking at the sky, drooling, not knowing what's going on. Check this out. Quote, George Bush was mauled for merely flying over New Orleans as citizens drowned during Katrina. Ted Cruz was mocked in a week-long news cycle for leaving Texas during the electricity crisis, which I talked about. Not only hasn't Biden visited Maui, but twice vacationed and has barely spoken on it. He doesn't care. The country could be up in flames. He doesn't care. Matter of fact, the country could be up in flames and you'll have the media said, hey, it's mostly peaceful. Oh, Milwaukee's on fire. It's okay. It's fine. It's reparations. They needed that. No, they needed all that stuff. No, it's fine. Black Lives Matter, Antifa. No, it's all good. Those are the people that lit those buildings on fire and are trying to suppress your speech are the anti-fascists. Didn't you understand? And the people that are trying to give you free speech and to just have law and order, those are the fascists. I mean, I told this to somebody the other day. I'm like, when did somebody step on the butterfly and just everything went upside down? You guys feel that on me? Like, I feel like at some point we went into an alternate dimension and our other side of ourselves is still in the dimension where it's like, yeah, things make sense. Oh yeah, no, that's good. I don't know when it happened, but God, it's just, we're going south. We're going south. So there's Joe Biden not answering questions and vacationing while a whole state goes up in flames. That's lovely. So Border Patrol sees over. Are you sitting down? We're going to wait a minute. Pull over if you need to. If you're listening to this in the car, I know some of you do. Pull over because Border Patrol, these numbers are insane, sees over 800% increase in Chinese illegal immigrants at southern border since 2022. 800. Some of you are swerving all over the road because you're pissed. You spit your coffee out or you spilled it. I don't know. Border Patrol agents at the U.S.-Mexico border have seen an increase of more than 800% in Chinese migrants entering the country illegally since the fiscal year of 2022. There are still 2 months remaining in fiscal year 2023, yet the number of encounters with Chinese nationals still dwarfs the totals from previous years. I was told they have everything under control. That's not from me. That's from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, Anthony Blinken, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. I mean, everybody said the border's closed. Hey, everything's fine. We got it under control. Nothing to see here. Well, the data from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection says otherwise, because the data shows that from October 2022 to July 2023, there were almost 18,000, yes, folks, we're in the thousands, 18,000 encounters with illegal Chinese migrants. Not one of them wants to harm this country. They all want to assimilate and have better lives. Folks, who's our number one enemy? It's either Russia or China. You got to pick. Okay. Can we just pause for a moment? We just had like 2 Navy men, officers, get like in trouble for giving the Chinese secrets. And they're here legally. You think not 18 of those 18,000 is like maybe going to do something harm to this country in some way, shape, or form? Maybe not. I think the odds are a little small. That number was just 2,000 for all of fiscal year 2022. Meaning it's 826% increase, like a legitimate number. Jesus. But we're being gaslit again. I mean, the theme of the show is gaslight, is it not? The border's secure. We got everything handled down there. It's gone down 70%. Okay. It's insane. In late March 2023, the Daily Caller reported on an internal alert by the CBP warning about the influx of illegal Chinese migration at the border after identifying specific routes of human smuggling. Remember, Joe Biden has created a multi-billion-dollar industry on multiple levels. If you want to like aggregate it all into one, it's just smuggling drugs, smuggling children, smuggling adults. I mean, you name it, it's insane. Multi-billion-dollar industry on fentanyl, multi-billion-dollar industry on cocaine, multi-billion-dollar industry on other drugs, multi-billion-dollar industry on sex trafficking, multi-million-dollar industry on child trafficking. I mean, you name it, Joe Biden has exacerbated at the southern border. Now breaking records on illegal Chinese migration. The report stated that Chinese nationals are seeing increased religious persecution in their country, causing them to flee. Partly that is true. Okay, partly that is true. The Chinese government does not like, especially Christians and other faiths, going on in their country. So that is true. There's Christians, you guys, that I've spoken to from China that literally learned underground, like the old school way, like back when Jesus was roaming the earth. That is what's going on. You can't be caught with like a Bible there. According to CBP, custodial interviews indicate that Chinese citizens are requesting asylum, claiming religious persecution by the Chinese government due to their Christian faith. Additionally, Chinese nationals reportedly make their own smuggling arrangements for most of their journey, only utilizing elements of smuggling networks to cross the border, the memo stated. The loosened COVID protocols in China have allowed Chinese nationals to flee repressive rule in China and begin their journey to the United States seeking better living conditions. That is true. All of this is true. But again, we have spies coming through. The Chinese don't operate like we do, where we got to look at every 4 years with who's president. Are they going to build up our military? Are they going to destroy it like we've seen from Joe Biden and Barack Obama that was getting rid of military bases? The Chinese have like a multi-decade plan to go to war with us at some point. At some point, it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but that's on them. That's on them. The report claimed that the Chinese migrants will pay between $15,000 to $30,000 to smugglers to reach the United States. They also have reportedly been found with large sums of money. So, again, according to DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and everybody else in that administration, the border's fine. Everything is tight-lipped there. Everything's working great. Fancy-dancy. But no, that's really what's going on. It's just a bleep storm down there. But nothing's been fixed. Nothing will continue to get fixed as long as you have Joe Biden at the helm. Furthermore, we have Pentagon to allow calculators on military entrance exams as recruitment plummets. Oh, goody. We got people that can't even add anymore. They can't multiply. They can't do long division. Elementary stuff. Now we're giving them calculators. The Pentagon has revealed plans for the military to allow calculators on its entrance exam. a timed test that measures academic ability and decides which job applicants might qualify for, if any. Military.com reported that recent change in the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, known as ASVAB, I actually took that in high school. I didn't do well on it. I was a knucklehead in high school. I wasn't a bad student or a bad kid. I just didn't study. I should have studied. I should have taken my education more seriously. And that's the God honest truth. I really should have. Could stem a major recruiting slump. The slump has particularly been attributed to young Americans not scoring high enough on the entrance exam to be admitted for enlistment. You guys, I don't mean I'm a big military advocate. You guys see the hat? You seen the book? You seen our brand, okay? We're military. Parents were military. Grandparents were military. We love the military. We got people like Neil, Jen, and others that were in the military. They're vets, okay? So what I'm about to say is don't take offense to what I'm about to say. You guys don't have to score high on this thing. They just want numbers. Borderline, like, you got to question yourself. If the military's looking at you, their recruitment numbers are low, and they're like, nope, can't do it, man. You don't got enough fingers, buddy. You can't add. You can't divide. You can't multiply. If the military's not going to take you, and they're so low on numbers that literally you could have the brain span of a gnat, you got to start questioning your life decisions. Is anybody else baffled? So insane. Our country is going down the drains. It's true. It is from all fronts, from a society level to an educational level. We're losing it. I hope I'm dead and gone before this country falls apart. This move puts the ASVAB on par with how test taking has shifted and evolved over the past 10 years. Well, kids can't pass anything. That's what it is. Calculators are not widely used in math classes and college entrance exams such as the SAT and ACT. Correct. You should be able to do basic math. That's why it's called basic. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? You got to ask yourself. It's a good show. A Pentagon official said, we are taking a systematic approach, which will assess the impact of calculator use. And we are developing a way forward for calculator inclusion. You guys, I've seen people that literally can't add. I've seen people that can't draw straight lines. They can't identify angles like triangles or circles. I'm not talking about like know the area of a circle or a triangle or a square or a rectangle, anything like that. I'm talking like I'm holding a triangle up. They can't identify. They don't know that it's a triangle. These are like people that are about to graduate high school. I'm not kidding. It's real. I've seen people that can't add numbers like 10 plus 25. You think I'm kidding? People think I'm joking when I say this stuff. I'm not. These people are trying to go in the military. Could you imagine sitting next to the guy? There's like guns going off. The dude doesn't know how to work his gun properly, right? You can't actually fixate on the yardage, how far the range is going. I mean, you name it, infantry, whatever it's going to be. That's probably what you're going to go into if you can't freaking handle simple numbers. Can you read a map? I think we're so reliant on technology nowadays. It scares me to where if you did an EMP, you wipe out everything. What are you going to do when you don't have technology anymore? Has anybody, like Neil, Jen, anybody that watches this, are you guys fearful of that? Can you leave me a comment, not in the live chat, but leave me a comment down below or email me? Because for anybody was in the military, is in the military, I need to hear from you on this. Because it actually scares me how much technology we're utilizing in our military to where I feel like the Chinese and the Russians, the Iranians, whoever the hell it is, knows that they need to just drop an EMP bomb. It doesn't even have to hit anything, just over the skies, and it just wipes out all your electronics. Like, what do you do? What is plan B? Did they talk about that in the military? That's my number one issue. Somebody, for the love of God, please write in. Please leave a comment down below. I will be reading it. Defense One reported that the Army recently encountered the second phase of its ad campaign. It continues to suffer recruitment shortages. Army Secretary Christine Wormuth said that this has been the most challenging recruitment environment in years. Yeah, look at the dude that's running the show. You think? He hates our military. He hates Americans. He just went to Hawaii. He hasn't even been to East Palestine yet. The dude's on the beaches of Delaware. But places are up ablaze. The Army came up 25% short of its recruiting goal. Jeez. That's a hit. I wasn't expecting that number. The Army came up 25% short on its recruiting goal of 60,000 soldiers last year and is likely to fall short again of its 65,000 recruits this year. Wow. Well, folks, there you go. People can't add, subtract. They're just drooling from the mouth. Military won't even take you. Like I said, if the military's not going to take you, you got to reevaluate yourself in life. I mean, the military's scrounging bottom of the barrel right now. Try and be careful with my words, but We'll just leave it at that. I think you guys know what I'm. Well, school districts' new equitable grading practices won't penalize late worker and issues zero. So you could turn in work late and you're not going to get a zero whatsoever, even for cheating. You guys, I'm telling you, society is being downgraded. We're going so far down south, it's head spinning. These aren't conservative and Republican ideals. This is strictly one side of the aisle. I'm sure everybody here, and I would also like to point out, you don't have to be a Democrat to be on board with this. This is progressive left policies that are destroying everything. I spent the time to write an entire book on how the left is destroying America. I don't say Democrats are destroying America. I think some of them are. But I'm saying the left, the progressive left, is destroying this country from the inside out, and they are doing a very good job of it. A Portland, Oregon school district recently issued new equitable grading practices that will require teachers to accept late work without penalty and refrain from giving students zeros, even if they are caught cheating. Let that sink in, you guys. And then we wonder, well, why can't the military take anybody? I don't know, maybe because they're not doing their work and they're getting zeros. Maybe that's a thing. You guys have to be baffled. I don't know if maybe I'm in here by myself. I don't know. I'm so done with this. This is insane. A new district handout titled Portland Public Schools Equitable Grading Practices Summary highlights the district's rationale for implementing a so-called equitable approach to grading students' class performance. How is that equitable? You have somebody that does the work and you have somebody that doesn't do the work, but the person that doesn't do the work still gets credit for not doing the work, all the while somebody spent probably an hour or so on their homework to get the credit for it. That's kind of screwed up to me. Quote, historical data shows that there are there we go. Racial disparities. Anytime there's disparities, it must be because of racism or discrimination. Just watch. I haven't read it, but we're going to see. Historical data shows that there are racial disparities in our pass/fail rate in multiple subjects in both middle school grades and high school, the district handout stated. During the pandemic, we adjusted our grading to accommodate for some of the inequities in access to curriculum and instruction. You guys, I just want to point something out. People go, I can't do math. Okay. How much are you studying? How much time are you putting into it? Folks, math is algebra is thousands of years old. It's not new. You just need a textbook. You're telling me that the school doesn't have access to textbooks, really, that you could take home? Folks, homeless people have cell phones. You're telling me you can't watch a video on YouTube and teach yourself something? I'm not saying it's easy. Not many things in life is easy. Who said it was supposed to be easy? When did we start getting on this bandwagon of like everything's supposed to be easy? I don't understand. It's going to be hard. You have to struggle. You have to overcome those struggles. It builds perseverance. Now we just fall over like turtles and we're just like laying on our back. It's like, turtle, I can't get up. Flip over. Figure it out. Man, this is insane. During the pandemic, again, we adjusted our grading to accommodate for some of the inequities in access to curriculum and instruction. This caused many teachers to begin the journey towards equitable grading, but has led to a mosaic of grading practices across schools and across the district that is confusing to students and families. Me as well, and I'm an educator. We need to organize and consolidate our efforts towards common policies to more consistently and better support students and families with equitable grading. When are we going to learn that not everybody's the same? When are we going to understand that you can force it all you want, but people's decision making, regardless of race, the amount of melanin in your skin has nothing to do with your decision making. Your environment does, the culture you grew up in, the people around you, yeah, that messes with you. But when are we going to learn that not everybody's the same? Not everybody likes school. I sure in hell didn't. I got worse grades than a lot of people did. But I don't think that I should have gotten credit on no work turned in, and I don't think I should be cheating. Talk about morality. Talk about degrading society and building a group of people, meaning our adolescent, our youth, to cheat on things and lie. Do you think that's a good thing for society? Because I don't think so. I'm not saying these people aren't struggling. I'm not saying people don't need help. That's not what I'm saying. That's our job, is to help them. But are we really helping them by creating and inculcating these ideas of cheating and turning things in late? Is that good for society? Is that good to build that habit in our youth? Guess we'll find out. The district explained that the new grading practices would be based on Joe Feldman's book, Grading for Equity, which provides a framework based on 3 pillars: accurate, bias resistant, and motivational. The PPS handout described the equitable grading practices as accurate because they are based on calculations that are mathematically sound. Oh, check this out. Those practices include never giving students a grade of 0. Instead, teachers were told to provide a minimum grade greater than or equal to 50% for work that does not meet expectations, is incomplete, or is missing. How is that mathematically sound? How is that accurate? I'm telling you, we stepped on the butterfly a long time ago. Somehow we're in an alternate dimension, and this is insane. This guideline also applies to students caught cheating, yes. So your son or daughter busts their you-know-what at home, you bust your butt helping your son or daughter at home after you just worked a long day to make sure that they get good grades. You got another kid that possibly doesn't care about their education, could be struggling at home or whatever, didn't do anything, is looking over at your son or daughter's exam, cheating off of it, and gets the same grade as them or potentially better if maybe they guessed on 1 or 2 and actually scored higher. How do you feel about that? Educators are also asked to abandon a 0 to 100 grading scale and replace it with a 0 to 4 scale, which is stated is more mathematically accurate. Guys, I'm not saying I know everything about statistics because that'd be false, but I am a statistician. I teach statistics. What? It's the same proportion. I would say actually grading scale of 100, 0 to 100 is more accurate than 0 to 4. Because we're just not even going to go there. Students' grades will be weighted against their most recent performance instead of assessed over the entire semester. To combat educators' implicit bias, homework will not be graded. Why give homework in the first place? Why do mathematical practice? Why have practice at all? Teachers cannot penalize late work or provide extra credit. Students will be allowed the opportunity to retake tests and redo assignments. Insane. It's our education system, man. I hope for the best, but we have people that are, I think in their minds, they have good intentions. I think in their minds, they have good intentions, but as we could see, those good intentions aren't working. They haven't been working. And the more that we lower our standard for equity, because you see a disparity in race, which again, race doesn't have anything to do with anything. If you want to talk to people about people's cultures and their milieus and their environments they grow up in, yes, absolutely. But your race has nothing to do with the score that you get on a test. That is insane to me. That is insane. But that's what they're going to push. That's what they're going to push, folks. It's sad to see. It's terrible to see. But it's only going to get worse. So just a heads up. Video shows San Francisco smash and snatch. Thieves go on spree of systemic thefts from vehicles. So I can't show these videos anymore. YouTube will not allow me. I get demonetized. We get flagged. So I cannot show you any more videos of people doing smash and grabs. The one that I showed you last time where I was like, let's just go ahead and do it. I'll make it small. Maybe they won't catch it. They did. I got screwed. So it's amazing how a progressive left site such as YouTube thinks it's inappropriate for viewers to see smash and grabs, but the progressive left that voted these initiatives in also think these smash and grabs are okay because they voted it in. Not that they literally voted in smash and grabs, but they voted in the idea of let's lower policing, let's just make it a misdemeanor for anything $950 or less, you know, all these things. So it's insane thinking. Viral video captured the moment a team of thieves executed a spree of systematic smash and snatch thefts from vehicles in San Francisco, California, of course. Does anybody want to take a guess on who runs San Francisco? Do you think it's Republicans? Do you think it's a conservative-dominated area? I'm sure you can take your guess. Brazen Bay area burglars boldly began a barrage of break-ins. That is a tongue twister. Holy lordy. Hey, give me that's a like right there. The fact that I read that tongue twister without getting tongue-tied like Joe Biden. Brazen Bay area burglars boldly began a barrage of break-ins during broad daylight, despite bystanders nearby. I don't land the reading every time, but damn, I'm on today, folks. Woo! So this is I love you guys. The systematic smash and grab robberies were caught on video by a car following the mobile crime spree. You know what they're telling people is not to record this stuff and just call 911. It doesn't do anything. These things are happening everywhere. They're calling it flash mobbing now. You know, there's flash mobs and people start dancing and everyone's like, oh my God, like, where'd you come from? Like, they're doing the same thing, but now people are going, holy hell, where'd you come from? Is that a gun? Are you stealing stuff? Folks, if you recall, we did a video on this where you had places like Rite Aid and like CVS and Target putting like ketchup and mustard behind plexiglass, like locked cases, ice cream and coffee. That's how insane things have gotten. They're locking up ice cream, mustard. They locked up was it the Ant-Man pajamas or whatever it's called, the pancake syrup? Like the Pine Sol? It's Pine Sol, baby! Like they were locking up Pine Sol. I mean, there's symbolism in that, is there not? I mean, why is that not racist? Why is that not sketchy? It's Pine Sol! Damn right it is, and they're stealing it. I know you guys missed me. I missed you too. I missed you too. We're having fun here. Hit that like and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below. Since it is our touristy area, the thief is seen stealing bags and luggage likely belonging to travelers visiting the area. Don't go to LA. Don't go to any major Democrat-ran area. I'm literally not kidding. You guys will be sitting there in your car. They will smash out your window and steal the stuff in your car as you're sitting there at a light. I don't go up to LA anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I won't. I can't be more clear than that. It's so insane, the crime that's going on in these Democrat-ran areas. And remember when The View, Whoopi Goldberg was like, oh, it's red states where there's the most crime. Listen, you knucklehead. It's the red states, and inside the red states, there's Democrat-ran cities. And those are the ones that are seeing all this crime. It's not conservative cities. I'm sure they're out there. Predominantly happening in LA, San Francisco, Oregon, Portland to be specific, Seattle, Washington, Washington, D.C. Okay, where else? New York City, Chicago. Do we continue to go down the list here? So we got these brazen thefts happening all around. It's going to be, it's continuous. I wanted to show you the video, but we can't. I don't want to get flagged. I got to make a little bit of money here. A little bit of money to make the show successful. All right, well, we're going to end it off here with Arkansas Department of Education throws down gauntlet on critical race theory, demands public schools turn over materials. I think this is good. Hey, look under the hood. If everything's fine, you got nothing to worry about. All right? The Arkansas Department of Education threw down the gauntlet on critical race theory in public schools, demanding superintendents turn over materials for the recently pulled controversial Advanced Placement African American Studies pilot program. Now, we did talk about this because Governor Ron DeSantis also had issue with this. And people like lost their minds. Like, this is racist. This is insane. Do I think African American studies should be allowed in high schools? Yes, of course. I think if you want to expand somebody's horizon and knowledge based on a study, absolutely. But what I don't like is when inside those studies, they hide this ideology that America is racist today. It's the worst country ever. And they manipulate the students that are in those classes to believe a certain thing, like a revisionist Howard Zinn type of history, like a Ibram X. Kennedy or the 1619 Project, like Stacey Abrams type stuff as well. I'm not for that. I think people should learn about African American studies. I think it is important. But when you start underskirting that and slowly seeping in different things that have a tendency to, one, be lies, and two, tear this country apart, I don't think that's a good thing. This month, Arkansas became the latest state to pull the controversial College Board AP African American Studies pilot program from its schools. Arkansas Education Secretary Jacob Olivia wrote that the department is in charge with oversight of education public school districts, which includes ensuring school district compliance with state law and state board of education rules, which is true. I mean, even as educators, we have to go by the state in terms of the standards that they want us to teach. We don't just get to pick and choose what we want to teach in the classroom. We have to go by state standards. And that's why I always thought it was crazy that some states are implementing these certain critical race theories, which comes from critical law theories. And if you're more curious about all that, folks, we do talk about all of that in my book. We actually have a part of a chapter with critical race theory in it, coming from critical law theories, where it comes from. But we go by the standards, and the standards are issued by the state. So when people are teaching outside of those standards, it makes me wonder kind of like, what's going on? Why are you doing that? Now, sometimes that does fit. If you're teaching finance, not everything is in financial standards through like the state of California or Common Core or something like that. And it could be an elective course. I'm not saying you should be teaching critical race theory. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes things aren't given in state standards, but they're still applied to in the classroom. Well, given some of these themes included in the pilot, including intersections of identity and resistance and resilience, the department is concerned the pilot may not comply with Arkansas law, which does not permit teaching that would indoctrinate, there you go, indoctrinate students with ideologies such as critical race theory. He continued, citing that Arkansas's LEARNS Act, that GOP Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the prior press secretary of Donald Trump and the daughter of Huckabee, I forgot his first name. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think he had a show on Fox News, signed into law in the March. Olivia wrote this in his letter that the order to assist public school employees, representatives, and guest speakers at your district is complying with the law. The superintendents must submit all materials, including but not limited to the syllabus, textbooks, teacher resources, student resources, rubrics, and training materials to the department by noon p.m. September 8th. So I think it's a good thing. As long as we have the people that are looking after the kids to make sure they're not being indoctrinated by some of these activist teachers. Again, they're not teachers, they're activist teachers in the classroom. I'm okay with that. If you're somebody that's of the left and you're a teacher and you're not teaching critical race theory, then you have nothing to worry about. Do you know what I mean? The same way if somebody would ask me what I'm teaching, yeah, here's all my notes. I go straight by Big Ideas textbook. I go straight by college textbooks. So it's math, and that's all it is. So they could ask for it, and I'm like, yeah, here's the stuff. I mean, if you find something in there you don't want me to teach, just let me know, and I'll strike it out. To me, it's not a big deal. I'm just going doing my job. I'm not looking to make a huff-up over everything. I just want the kids to be, how many times you've heard me say this? I just want kids to do well. That's all I care about. I don't want to indoctrinate them with Republican stuff or conservative stuff. I just want them to do well in math, just score well. It has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't have anything to do with the LGBTQ community. It has nothing to do with race. It's just do well. How is that so hard? That's all I care about. Score freaking well on exam. I'm going to teach you the stuff, practice it, and please, for the love of God, do well. We don't need all this. We don't. If you want to have African-American AP class, I don't care. Great. That's fine. Just look at the information that's being taught. If it has to do with critical race theory, not saying it's going to literally say critical race theory, but there's things that are adopted from it that are implemented. I think we should remove those and still have African-American studies. So that's the news today, folks. Woo! A little bit of a 40-minute-er for you all. Always love hanging out with you. Hit that join tab right there. Please, folks, we would love your support here. A lot of us are being censored. A lot of us are being shadow banned. You see what's happening to our channel right now. We are being shadow banned big time, folks. We're thinking about maybe trying to call up Rumble. If anybody has connections over there, I'll partner with them and we'll move our show over there because YouTube is doing a number on us, and they have been for quite some time, as well as all of you guys, by honestly deleting some of your comments. Not me, YouTube's doing that, or they're hiding your comments. They're getting rid of subscriptions. Some of you aren't being notified when we upload. All sorts of shenanigans are still going on. So hit that join tab, folks. That way we know that you're supporting the cause, you're supporting conservative and Republican and getting those ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. Again, leave us a comment down below, folks, and we'll be back here tomorrow here on the